Lepidium, Meyenii, tomato, Maca. What we're looking at is remarkable effect that Maca, not by any particular type, what the researchers looked at when they looked at Maca was the constituent makeup as opposed to black, brown, so on and so forth. But just the same, look at this. The tissue scarring, and keep in mind as well, too, what's quite extraordinary, is this is done after the exposure, not taking pre-exposure. This is after the exposure. Caveat to that, this is an animal model, but still just the same. This is remarkable. The tissue scarring, the reduction in inflammation, and of course the saliva to cell ratio. That's just the first chart. And the interesting part about this, it also makes it quite amazing. This was done at a remarkably small dose. You may see 12 milligrams a kilogram in the largest dose in the animal study, yielding these incredible results. But when you look at the human equivalent, which is a very rough theoretical, I should say, postulation, it is not a lot of Maca required to achieve, if it translates to humans equally, this incredibly powerful outcome. All right, so looking at tissue scarring, the fibrosis, the inflammation, and of course the saliva to cell ratio. Quite extraordinary. Now check this out. This we're looking at in regard to Maca. Lepidium, Meyenii, Walpers. Check it out. There you have the Maca's mite, and you notice the increase in inflammation in response to radiation. Now, obviously, what they're looking at in regard to Maca here is helping people or patients that may have had the salivary glands damaged, either through Sjogren's syndrome, age, radiation, so on and so forth, and trying to find ways to help alleviate that extraordinarily uncomfortable dry mouth without using chemicals outside of your Maca. This is quite extraordinary overall. And one more chart before we go into the study itself is look at the restoration in the gland function. Look at the salivary lag time, the amylase activity. So people recognize amylase as far as the amylase. Amylase in regard to digestive health, so on and so forth, breakdown of carbohydrates, you name the whole roundup. It is quite significant. And now look at the gland weight. This is the part that really took me for a loop because the gland weight, and this is dose dependent, which is really great at alleviating any potential confounding between 6 milligram and 12 milligram. This is quite amazing. The gland weight actually increasing beyond that of the sham control. And obviously the radiation injury with nothing didn't improve at all. Now let's get right into the study itself. You can always, pause the video, go back, and look at this again. It is quite extraordinary. But as we begin, Lepidium Meyenii, Walpers promotes regeneration of salivary gland and prevents xerostomia after irradiation injury. All right, into the study itself. Brief segments. Lepidium Meyenii Walpers. I'm just going to use, when you see LMW, I'm just going to use the word Maca, in the name Maca in its place. A high-altitude plant is known to stimulate hormone release, counteract neurodegeneration, and protect against oxidative stress. Saliva is vital for oral health. And reduced production leads to xerostomia, often caused by aging, radiation, Sjogren's syndrome, etc., etc., etc. Studies have shown, the backstory, that regular consumption of Maca can slow the progression of chronic neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and Huntington's diseases. Animal research has demonstrated that Lepidium Meyenii Walpers Maca promotes pituitary secretion of follicle-stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone in female rats, animal study, thereby enhancing fertility. Additionally, Maca increases superoxidase dismutase activity and glutathione levels in the liver, all right, which may explain some of the benefits. But still, that's adding publisher bias. Significantly reducing plasma lipid and cholesterol levels. Maca also extends endurance load-bearing swim tests and reduces blood, urea, nitrogen, and lactate accumulation during exercise. Methodology, because we're going to go through most of what it does in the graphics we just looked at. Methodology, they use a gelatinized Maca, 12-to-1 concentration, as you can see there, of a 500 milligram extract equivalent to 6 grams of Maca powder containing approximately the macamides, and so on and so forth. So we're looking at, again, not the variety of Maca per se, but the active constituents in its place, and this kind of explains why. The gelatinization, a traditional process method involving controlled heating, disrupts starch granules and enhances the digestibility and bioavailability of maca constituents while reducing gastrointestinal adverse effects associated with raw maca powder. Reasoning behind that is this. Finally, I'm quoting, since gelatinized maca capsules are widely marketed as dietary supplements, quoting, our approach enhances the translational relevance of the findings, directly reflecting the form in which patients are most likely to consume maca. So the researchers wanted to find, as I say, an easier solution in regard to basically solving this problem of salivary damage. Now keep in mind, we're not issuing any medical advice, so always work with the healthcare practitioner. And this is an animal study, yet extremely promising. All right, let's go look at a few more of the charts real fast. Let's go to the conclusion, then I'll show you the charts. Together, these findings highlight that basically maca is a promising low-toxicity therapeutic candidate for xerostomia, offering both functional preservation and regenerative potential through antioxidant, anti-secretion, and differentiation enhancing effects. Pretty amazing overall. Now let's finish it off with the charts and the study design. All right, you can see the duration, 6 to 12 weeks. You can see looking about 12 milligrams a kilogram in the animal model. That's not going to translate equally to humans, but you can see the study design and the dosing in groups. As we proceed forward with the key takeaways, look at the functional recovery. Now keep in mind again, to reiterate, to repeat, we're not looking at a tremendous amount of time. Now, albeit the lifespan of a mouse is not exactly long, but 6 to 12 weeks is still incredibly promising. And the tissue protection, again, normally you don't think of maca as something that protects you from radiation damage. But at least in this case, without adding publisher bias, and on top of that, to postulate beyond the realm of the study, makes you think. Key takeaways. I like this part, dual action restoration. Maca provided a two-pronged benefit. It restored gland function, improving saliva quantity and speed, and healed the gland structure, reducing scarring, inflammation, and cell damage. That's a pretty powerful takeaway. Now for the healthcare professionals, I'm not going to delve into too much. You can see the human equivalent dosaging, the mechanistic insights, and for the researchers, you want to look at basically the constituents that they were utilizing in the maca per se. Again, not basically honing in on any particular type of variety. More what the researchers want to do is look at the constituents as opposed to the type per se. All right, and as follows, to finish it all off, that is actually it. That's the healthcare professional. But still, just the same, what an incredibly eloquent study to elucidate the benefits of Lepidium, Meyenii, Walpers, Maca, in regard to solving a quite common issue right about this time, dry mouth, and especially individuals, work with your healthcare professional, that may be going through certain treatments that could result in the xerostomia, the dry mouth, gland damage, so on and so forth. And if you look at the human equivalent dose, again, very, 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 very rough. Approximately 68 milligrams. That's like on a daily basis. Well, that's not really a big hurdle to overcome. Again, work with a medical professional. Gratitude to the researchers. I am humble you watch. Look forward and see what you and I both discover next week. Key takeaway here from me, maca and radiation. Wow, what a powerful, powerful tool that is right before our eyes. Catch you in a bit. See you then. Bye.